Hello folks, Popcorn Culture Junkie here. First of all, my sincerest apologies for not having made a video in several months. I have been busy with school, and I've had some personal issues going on, and then there's some laziness mixed into all that too. I haven't had the ambition nor the time to make a video until now. So, to all my current subscribers, I apologize. To all my new subscribers, welcome. Anyway, the subject of today's video is playing off one of the most common bingos the child-free people get. You're not a real adult until you have children. Well, who the fuck says I have to have a kid in order to be an adult? As I've stated before in other videos, so does the 16-year-old with the 2 kids, is she an adult? As long as she can't vote or buy her own place, no. However, I've been told I'm not a real adult because I don't have children. But that whole you're not a real adult until you hit said milestone thing carries over into other parts. You're not a real adult until you have a car. You're not a real adult until you have your own place. You're not a real adult until you get married. You're not a real adult until you've graduated college. You're not a real adult if you don't have several degrees. To me, I say, fuck you to all that. First of all, not everybody wants to go to college. Not everybody can afford to go to college. And along with the whole affordability thing, not everybody wants to be racked up in student debt for the rest of their lives either. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, dipshits. And who says if you do go to college, you have to have every single degree that's offered? Who says you have to go straight from a bachelor's to a master's or straight to a PhD? Who says you have to do all that? You know? I mean, back when my mom and dad graduated high school, it was all you need to get a job is a high school diploma. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that anymore. I have my own reasons for getting a bachelor's degree. I'm not quite finished yet. I'm going to take an extra semester to do so, which to me is perfectly fine. Do I want to go to grad school? I really don't know. We'll see what happens there. But of course, it is entirely my choice. And as far as the whole car thing, I had a car, but because Minneapolis is so ridiculous with tow-away zones and plowing and whatnot, my car got towed. And they kept it for a while. When I didn't have any money to go get it, I said, fuck it, just keep it. It's not paying insurance and gas that bothers me. It's just paying to get the damn thing out of the impound lot. And around the part of Minneapolis where I'm living at, there's hardly any goddamn place to park. The apartment complex I'm staying at now, it's only 2 parking spots per unit, and, well, they're both taken. I mean, I do have other reasons for not wanting a car at the moment. I do want one again at some point. It will happen again at some point. But that does not make me immature or stupid just because I don't have a car right now. I have my driver's license, but I just don't have a car right now. But we have pretty good public transportation around here, and that is alright by me. My cousin and his wife, they live in their own place, but neither of them drive because they choose not to. They do the vegan lifestyle. They're all about the environment. So that's one of the reasons why they're not driving. They're worried about carbon and whatnot. They get around on public transportation and bicycles just perfectly fine. That doesn't make them any less of adults. You know, they're living on their own. I mean, they're living on their own. They're paying their bills. They're paying their rent. They're taking care of themselves. That, to me, is a sign that they're adults. You don't necessarily have to own your own place or own your own car or pop out 1 million babies just to be considered an adult. Unfortunately, society is still cramming that shit down everybody's throats. I mean, even some of my friends in the past have said, oh, you know, he's such and such an age. He doesn't have his own apartment. He doesn't have his own job yet. Or, well, in the case of jobs, I mean, sometimes people do lose their jobs, and some people feel shitty enough if they're unemployed and looking for work. Oh, you're not a real adult until you have a job. That's true, but if someone's lost a job and they're looking, they're still adults. Now, if you have some brain-dead bumfuck who does nothing but sponge off of mommy and daddy, never does anything, never pays rent, never pays bills, doesn't have any gumption to get a job, no matter what the job may be, or no matter what's offered, those are not adults. Those are sponges. If you are moving back in with your parents or family members for a temporary time, like let's say a job loss or a divorce until you find your own place, or even if your place burnt down or something, extenuating circumstances like that, that is totally fine. As long as you have the motivation to get back on your own 2 feet and move on, that's cool. As I said, I'm using my ex as an example here. He's going to be 26 and he's still living with mommy and daddy after his so-called volunteer work to find himself. Yeah, that worked out well. He's back to living with mommy and daddy and bitching and moaning about having to work a retail job, even though he has 2 degrees. Yeah, you see, having multiple degrees, if you have multiple degrees, you're an adult. Not in his case, especially since he didn't pay for them. But enough about that. It does bother me, though, when I tell people I'm close to 37, oh, you're not married yet? You don't have kids yet? There's that hinting around that I'm not a real adult because I've done neither of those things. Again, I would like to get married someday, or hell, even have a domestic partnership with the right guy. And once again, the right guy for me would also be child-free. So I don't want to hear any more of that bullshit of, oh, what if the man of your dreams wants children? Then he's not the man of my dreams, now is he? Like I said, to me, what constitutes an adult is living away from your parents, not depending on your parents for anything, paying your own bills, paying your own rent, paying for your own food, and in the case of living with roommates, respecting boundaries. And, well, I have a cat, so I'm responsible for him as well. I make sure he goes to the vet. I make sure he has litter and food and that he's okay. Adults don't depend on mommy and daddy to take care of them in any respect whatsoever. Even if I wanted my mommy and daddy to take care of me, I can't anyway because they're both gone. But even if they were still around, I wouldn't ask them for anything because I'm going to be 40 in a few years. There's no excuse to be, no excuse to be an overgrown adolescent. Oh yeah. Speaking of the whole overgrown adolescent thing, if I tell some folks that I collect comic books and manga and anime and stuffies and what have you, well, what are you doing reading all that crap for? That's for kids. Don't think so. If you've ever been to an anime convention, there are certain sections in the dealer's room where it is adult material only. You have the hentai, and you have X-rated manga and doujinshi. Or doujinshi. Sorry for the fuck up in the pronunciation. And I met plenty of adult guys. They live on their own, they pay their bills and what have you. They take care of their responsibilities. And some of them have comic book collections that make me jealous. But these same guys are frowned upon by the rest of society. Oh, they're just overgrown teenagers. What a bunch of dorks. He still collects comic books. And yet the asshole sports fan who comes to games with face paint acts like a fool in the sports bar after way too many beers, rants and raves at his big screen TV because his team isn't winning. That guy's mature? That guy's a real adult? Because he likes something mainstream? While some of us don't give two shits about that? Let me show you something. Some of my manga collection, and yes, I have the entire series. Am I not an adult? This comic book collection, this is the tip of the iceberg. I've collected tons of these. Am I not an adult? Am I too immature Am I an overgrown adolescent? And we have these. I collect one of these every year I go to Detour. First year, second year, this year. Oh, but because I have these kind of things, because I collect these items, I'm deemed immature. Because, again, I'm not married and I'm not popping out babies like a Pez dispenser. I'm immature because I collect these things and I don't live in my own house. I'm immature because I collect these things and I don't have a car right now. Oh, chronologically, I'm close to 37, but in the eyes of society, I'm not a real adult because I don't want children and I don't have the whole husband and house and car in a garage deal. I'm totally immature. Yet, I joined the military. I stayed in the military for 8.5 years. I was able to behave myself enough to get my GI Bill to pay for school. But because I'm not married and popping out babies like society deems I should, I'm immature. I'm living with 3 other roommates because I can't really afford to pay my own rent for my own place in this particular area of Minneapolis. But I'm immature because I don't have my own house. Where does this glass ceiling of maturity end? Where does it stop? I mean, yes, I'm single. I don't have kids. I don't have my own house to live in or anything. But again, I am paying my own way. I cook my own food. I clean up after myself. Basic shit, right? But in the eyes of this idiotic thing called society, I'm immature because I collect comic books and manga and plushies and anime and anything else that is deemed nerdy. I'm also apparently immature because, well, I've got tons of tattoos, and according to some people, I'm just going through some really fucked up adolescent phase, when I am fully aware that tattoos are permanent. I got into an argument with some douche hat on Facebook. It was on a child-free page, but he's going, oh, tattoos are so trashy. Dude, all you had to say was, I don't like tattoos, that's why I don't have any. If you don't like tattoos, fine. I'm not putting a gun to your head and saying, fucking get some. I certainly don't tell people not to have kids, because that's as bad as telling me I should have them. I cannot tell people how to live their lives, but that also doesn't give anybody the right to tell me how to live mine. Yes, again, I don't have that desire to live in the suburbs with the picket fence, and the multitude of pets, and the kids popped out like a Pez dispenser, and the husband. Personally, I hate suburbs. Suburbs are the 10th circle of hell, if hell existed. Actually, the only circle lower than that would be the DMV, but I am not a suburban lady. I was not born in the suburbs. I was not raised in the suburbs. I am not suburbanite material. I am a city girl who, for a period of time, was forced to live out in the sticks. But I got away from the sticks. I am back in the big city, and I am loving it. But again, back to the whole, what makes somebody an adult? As far as I'm concerned, if you're not depending on anybody to help you, for a long period of time, temporary help is cool. If your parents are helping you financially for a little bit, until you're getting back on your own feet, that is fine. But if mommy and daddy are paying all of your bills, all of your rent, your food, and every other living expense, whether you live under their roof or not, you're not an adult. At least to me, that's not what constitutes an adult. To me, if you're paying all your bills, taking care of all your business before you go out and have your fun, you're an adult. And thus, the end of another popcorn rant. I hope you enjoy it. Rate, comment, subscribe. And have a wonderful day.